Romantic tension.
Yes. Probably the beginning of our divorce tonight. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I heard a lot of people filed for divorce after that movie.
Are you serious?
Yes.
The movie we're talking about right now, the movie that everybody wants to hear us talk about because we are a married couple. I mean, you and I. Don't confuse. I'm sorry, I'm taking. But we are talking about Marriage Story.
I thought we should talk.
With you, my love.
About Marriage Story. A married couple talking about Marriage Story. The movie that they tell married couples not to watch. I don't care how strong your marriage is. This is something you might not want to see.
People shouldn't watch it either, then they would never get married.
And actually, if you're single, watch this as a cautionary tale. You might stay single the rest of your life. Don't mean you can't hook up with somebody. Doesn't mean you can't live with somebody, cohabitate. Doesn't mean you can't have kids together. But you might want to think about crossing that next boundary.
Don't sign any papers.
Yes. This is a movie with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, or as some kids say, the movie with Kylo Ren and Black Widow. Two big Disney properties. And you would think getting these I guess that's what they mean by look. You really have to get along with each other. You can't be a person marrying outside of your religion. You know, you can't be like a person who's part of what do you call it? Muslim faith. Don't marry a Jew. You know, if some people say
if you're white, don't marry a black person.
If you're white, don't marry black. And some people say if you're a hero, don't marry a villain because it won't work out. And that's exactly what we're having right here. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. You know, two beautiful people with a lot of talent. She's a great actress. He's a great playwright and director. You would think that, well, that's a natural. She'll act. He'll direct her. They fit right. They fit right together.
Yeah,
Snug.
they work together and everything.
Yeah, and they work together. What could be going on with them? Well, it turns out that, you know, you really need to know what you want to do in life and what kind of person you are before you get married. Turns out she traveled to New York to be with him when they got married. And yeah, she's in his plays and everything, but at one time she could have been a big movie actress. Meanwhile, he's doing the plays and he's kind of calling the shots, and you know, maybe he doesn't know that he's holding her back. Either way it goes, what looked like a perfect marriage between two beautiful and talented people has turned into a nightmare. They are at odds with each other all the time. They're fighting. They're in therapy. They can't even be in there with a marriage therapist. They get up and walk out. They can't even give each other compliments. They say some of the meanest things to each other. And
they weren't that bad, actually.
At moments they were, but then at times they're like, you know what? Maybe we can work this out. Maybe there's, you know, maybe there's just a little bit of hope there, especially since we have a son. You know, if we can't do it for us, do it for the children. Let's go ahead and take a look.
That kid.
Some people actually say that after they see the movie.
Yeah, if it's not your kid, it's easy to say.
Yeah, but you never know.
I come from divorced parents, so I feels this, okay?
Oh, well, you know what?
So if they said fuck little TJ, you would be like, yeah, me.
No, they said we must stay together, so I'm happy they got divorced.
So you want to see other people be miserable. All right. Well, then you're in for a treat with this.
Eventually, it'll be the two of you having to figure this out.
When they talk about movies needing to be in a theater, this movie is definitely one of them. This movie should not be as easily accessible as Netflix. You should not be able to just, if you're having problems with your marriage, you should not be able to just cut this movie on easily and watch it while your significant other is walking around the house. This movie is a horror film for married people out there and a cautionary tale for people who are
on the brink
of getting married. I just thought about it. Like this would be a great movie to watch if you're thinking about getting married. And people who are married are like, God damn, why didn't somebody make something like this when I was about to get married? Now I say this, if your marriage is strong, and even somebody in the chat says, you know, it doesn't help that my wife, somebody said it doesn't help that my wife looks like a black Scarlett Johansson, which I don't know how that is, but hey, I trust you. I'm sure she's lovely. But after you see this movie,
that's an ego boost. Shut up.
That's a humble brag right there. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
But no one asked.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Well, My wife looks like a white Adam Driver over here. So, no, I'm kidding. No,
That's still a humble brag.
it's still a humble brag because I'll tell you
No,
something.
I don't want to look like Adam Driver.
You don't want to be a female Adam Driver?
No. No. I don't think Adam Driver is handsome at all.
He's handsome in that way that he's so talented that
He is talented and stuff, but like if you only look physically, other than him being tall.
he used to be a Marine, and he has the talent to kind of
He seems like the tall, like
to
quiet.
kind of he has the talent to back himself up, man. You know, like to be not weird looking, but now unique, interesting. But you know, looking at this, you look at this and you say, well, this is a movie, man. This is something where that's fiction. That has no reflection on people in real life. Let's not worry about that.
It felt very, very real, actually.
But it felt very real, and you got to keep in mind that this is somewhat semi-autobiographical. This is directed by Noah Baumbach. Noah Baumbach has done movies like Francis Ha, The Brothers Marowitz, I believe, a few other things you might have heard from on the indie film circuit. But the autobiographical part comes in where at one time he was married to Jennifer Jason Leigh, and he divorced her to marry an actress that has been in a couple of his movies, Greta Gerwig. And so the movie kind of reflects what it's like to be married with somebody that, now you see the similarities right there too. He's a director, she's an actress. You know, it's kind of, the movie's kind of like the message is, you know, you're being married with somebody that you think that you have that thing in common with. We're both interested in movies and the arts and whatnot. But also with that comes people's own personal artistic ambitions. And that's what happens here. And one of the things I liked about the movie, even though I heard that you're looking at these two and you're thinking like, all right, who's at fault here? One time you're rooting for this person or one time you're rooting for that. Not really. I don't know how you feel about this. I thought like, you know, one of the things that I thought was cool was that they're both likable. They're both likable people, and they're
not assholes or anything.
They're not assholes, and they both are very. They're actually both very. They're very sweet people that you don't really. They make points. They make their own points about what they're doing, and you can't really blame them for what they say. You know, when she says, I had this opportunity and all of a sudden it hit me and I have another opportunity to pursue it, it's like, well, shit, you know, that's once in a lifetime thing. And nobody can really blame you for that. When he says that, you know, the marriage took a toll because you kind of felt like you weren't there 100%, and maybe I did some things too, you see his side. So
they try to make it pretty realistic, you know, in long-term relationships, this kind of stuff happens because like people want things and the other one doesn't want it and stuff like that. It's hard to live two people's life. And then there's the kid too.
Yeah, and then there's the kid that they have. And listen, you want to root for them because what the movie does is actually very good. When I say that they, you know, that what they live is a nightmare, it does turn into a nightmare, but not because of them. It is a nightmarish thing that they're in after a certain point, but for them, they get together and they say, you know what? Let's just work this out ourselves. Let's just we don't want to make this complicated. We have a kid. We want to make sure that we're both taken care of. I don't care if you take this. I don't care if you take that. And they also you almost think that you root for them thinking that, man, maybe they will get back together. They still take care of each other. Oh, your shoelace is untied. Hey, you want me to cut your hair? Oh, let me straighten this tie out for you. Let me wipe this off for you. They still know each other so well that they take care of each other, even when they're fighting.
Yeah. After all that time, yeah.
Yeah, man. And the movie is actually funny too. I mean, throughout the whole thing, don't think that this is some really dark drama. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that goes on that's hilarious. Like Scarlett Johansson's mother loves him. Her sister can't. They had to serve papers. Her sister can't do it. All these people have their own personality, especially Wallace Shawn, who always talking about, when I was younger, I had flowing long hair. I was beautiful. There are characters in here that you really do enjoy and you really love. So you're thinking between the laughs and the sweetness that these two still have for each other, even through going through all this bullshit where it's definitely going towards divorce, it looks like. Maybe there's a small chance, and even if there isn't, they're being really cool about it.
And the attorneys come in.
And then the lawyers come in.
It goes crazy.
Yeah.
The reality hits really
that's
hard.
When the reality hits, man. That's when things that is when the nightmarish part comes in. These guys, you almost root for divorce. Some people who are watching this, TJ, they probably thought like your parents did. It's like, oh, well, shit, you know what? Yeah, let's get divorced. It's easy. We just sit down, we'll talk about it. Hey, you get this, I get that. We'll split everything down the middle. As you say,
Divorce
baby.
isn't easy.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, I don't think nobody ever said that.
Yeah,
But if you watch this movie at the beginning, when they're talking, you could tell it's bitter, but a little bit, but they're still kind of cool.
Before I watched this movie, I heard about like everybody saying like divorce is really hard in the United States and it takes time and all that. And like I kept hearing it, but like when you watch it like this, you see all the emotional parts and the lawyers and like the like formal parts kicks in. It's like, wow.
I've worked under a litany of lawyers before, and I can tell you right now, the one form of law that I refused to work in was divorce law and pretty much anything in family practice, because those are the ones with the most emotions. That's when everything is intertwined. There's too many layers to it. It never comes out clean. It's never clean.
And this movie says that, thank God that this is mostly a comedy, because this shit is not only...
Who says this is mostly a comedy?
It is. I mean,
to me, it wasn't at all. Like, there were some highlight parts so that you won't be too depressed the whole time. But like, other than that, I think it was pretty harsh.
Because I do see where it's a comedy. I mean, you could say it's a frank comedy, it's a realistic comedy, it's a black comedy, or dark comedy, but it is a comedy. They do have some very comedic moments in there.
Yeah, I think that like they kind of needed to highlight the other stuff.
They do. Thank God that they have a comedy in there, because this is heartbreaking and it is exhausting. I got tired of watching them in court, and I'm not saying tired because I was tired of the movie. The process is just like, listen, when one person gets a lawyer, then somebody else has to get a lawyer. And they have all these rules that, and I don't know how close this is to real life, because I never heard some of these things, but they describe how if you want to get something done for your kid, you have to prove that you're there for them. So you have to up from your job and move to the vicinity if somebody else has moved out of town, even to an opposite coast.
And I hated the part that like once they get all these lawyers and like they're against each other and like they start even using the tiny bit shit like spying on each other and like, oh, she drinks sometimes afternoons and like one time she slipped a little bit. Then the next thing they're trying to make her look like an alcoholic and she cannot be the mother of her kid and shit. It's like, wow.
Well, that's the thing. Lawyers are meant to go in and win by digging up dirt to make you look like either you're unfit to ask for as much as you want, or just to actually make your client look better. And the lawyers are played great by Laura Dern, and you just saw Ray Liotta a little while ago.
Ray Liotta is awesome.
Ray Liotta is amazing in this, and what's so shitty about it is that these guys, this is their job, and really and Laura Dern is so great in this, man, because
she acts like she cares, but she doesn't give a shit.
She would tell you like, you know what? Your job ain't shit. You ain't shit. You're a terrible father. And then be like, oh, but I saw your play. Genius work. Love it. Love it. You're going to go places. But then when they get together, and the lawyers talk to each other. Laura Dern and Ray Liotta, they get together and talk about before they get into the room, it's all theatrics. You know, before they get into the room to go at each other's throats and talk shit to each other in court, they sit there and they talk about how, oh, I'm going to see you at the lawyer's ball or whatever. You know, John Legend's going to be there. Hope to see you there. Haven't seen you in a while. You're looking great.
That's the part, like, I could never be a lawyer, especially like this, like divorce lawyer stuff, because like they act like the person you're dealing with, your client, is so emotional. And like they act like, oh, I understand you, like hugs and kisses and stuff like that. And it's all theatrics. They don't care. All they care is their money, actually.
You know, it's a great performance by these two. And like I said, I don't know how real it is with these lawyers, if they really do this kind of stuff. I'm sure they probably do, but
and all the money they charge.
And all the money, like, yeah, there's tons of money to be charged for this. And they tell you like, oh, this is what we're gonna do. You won't go to court. Oh, guess what? They asked us to go to court. You said I wasn't going to court. Yeah, but that changed right now. I told you it would. You know, it just, there's no relief for these two once lawyers get involved. I gotta tell you, if you do plan on getting a lawyer, hey, this movie tells you, baby, everybody's talking about how This movie, if you got problems, if you're fighting all the time, you're talking shit to each other, do not watch this film. I'm glad I watched this. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. This shit will scare you straight. This is like those kids when they sit in the prison and and the prisoners get in front of their faces to make them like quit f***ing up in life. This will make you want to do that. This will scare your marriage straight, or you would just say, F it, you know what? We got to get divorced now, and God forbid we get lawyers involved. This is frightening.
Maybe Catholics were right from the beginning. When you get married, you never get divorced.
Yeah, but they rape little boys too, so you
gotta take a step back and feel for it for the lawyers, in terms of, because I've seen it. It's desensitization. Like there's only so much that you can see, and in my case, I've been on the criminal justice end perspective of where you have to get desensitized, or else, because you can't let your emotions get involved.
Yeah,
because the moment you let your emotions get involved, that's when, I'm not saying you can't be invested into something, right? But you might think of it as theatrics, but you have to safeguard yourself onto a certain level, because you're guiding with very emotional people. But at the end of the day, you're going through this on the regular, on the everyday.
Yeah,
you're gonna get desensitized.
And it's funny. When you say get desensitized, Alan Alda plays when Adam Driver, who plays Charlie, when he goes to Ray Liotta and it's way too much money, he gets a cheaper lawyer. And you see the lawyer played by Alan Alda here, and it looks like this is great, because this guy not only charges less, but he's very sensitive to Charlie's emotions. He's very, he has a lot of empathy for what's happening with this guy. Turns out he's not very good at his job either, or at least he's good, but at least he. But
I think he didn't do anything wrong, actually.
He's just not as much of an asshole.
Yeah, like he said, I think we should negotiate and do this thing, because if now we're gonna go to court and it's gonna be worse. And Adam Driver didn't want to do it because he didn't want to accept some stuff that is happening that moment. So I guess since we're gonna go to court, I want to make my hands stronger, so I'm gonna go get that other.
You can't.
Crazy
it's not that he's
dude.
bad. You have to be an asshole, which sours everything. So instead of working with this guy, he ends up having to work with an asshole to complete with another asshole, and it just turns things bad. Where these guys are trying to be very civil and fair towards each other, it gets to a point, and I don't know if I'm gonna play the whole speech, but there's a incredible speech in here, and I won't play the whole thing, because if you haven't seen the movie, you should watch it. But there's this incredible. It's not a speech. It's a scene. It's a piece of dialogue between Scarlett Johansson as Nicole and Charlie, played by Adam Driver. And you almost think man, if the lawyers weren't involved, they wouldn't be saying all the mean, spiteful things that they were saying to each other that you'll see in this scene right here, where they try to work it out, and it just de-escalates into just them being nasty to each other.
I agreed to put Henry in school here because your show went to Syria.
We never expressly said
We
that.
did say it.
Honey, let me finish. Sorry, I keep saying that.
Putting me through hell.
So much like your father.
Do not compare.
Bitch, what the you say? He is about to go Kylo Ren on that ass right there. Lightsaber shit. Head on the floor.
That's where the fights turn around. One of the person says something like hit that little part in there, and just then that's where it goes crazy.
See, I don't know if I can watch this.
You know what?
You're already stressed, right?
Now I gotta ask you. Did you? And I don't know if this is actually the case. I'm just going to ask you this, because a lot of people want to see us talk about how this relates to a married couple, because that's the scene. That's the scene right there that out of all the movie, you might be laughing, or you might be intense, or you might look at it with a little detachment, thinking, this is close, but it's really not us. But this scene is the one that is actually going to say, all right, wow, maybe I have said things like this before. Maybe that is us. Maybe we've had this kind of argument before. That's the one that's going to make you feel uneasy around your partner.
There's the one real fight they have in this whole movie, actually. Other parts, they didn't have fights.
Yeah.
This is the one real main fight.
When you saw that, how did that make you feel? Did you think anything about us when you saw that scene?
I just looked at clear, when you're the third person looking at it, you see how emotions are involved, and you just say things because you're upset. And then you drive the other person crazy. And when they're hurt, they want to hurt you, and everything just happens. And I understand them both. They don't mean bad, but...
Yeah, I mean, in relation to us, did you?
We do that kind of shit too.
Yeah. So how did that make you feel knowing that we do that kind of shit and seeing how it affects them in the movie? What made you think about us?
I mean, it's not cool, of course, but that kind of stuff happens, you know. I think you should know how to come back from there.
How you come back from that?
I mean, if you realize the other person doesn't mean it, they're just upset and they're saying that kind of shit. Because look at yourself, you're doing that too, so they're doing it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know what you feel like. How do you feel?
Makes me feel like I don't want to be that couple. I don't want to. I know you sometimes say like it's a cultural thing to argue and whatnot. I don't want to do that.
Everybody argues, baby. That's the thing. Like, how are you not gonna argue?
I don't want to argue though. That's the thing.
Nobody wants to argue. It's not about wanting.
No, I know, and I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not even. I get it. I'm just saying it made me. I'm just telling you how I feel. I don't want to. That's what I don't want to be. You know, I don't. I
don't think anybody watched this movie and said, "I want to be these people."
I don't. What I'm saying is, I'm trying my best not to be that. Like, I don't like raising my voice anymore. I don't want to call names. I don't want to be that. I don't want to. I think that's the point of this. Is like, you know, say things to yourself.
They didn't want it either from the beginning. They didn't, and then things happened, and they did.
But I know. But I mean, I think and I don't think either one of them are trying either. That's the thing. I think both of them are contributors to that. Like
they're under a lot of stress.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, what it made me feel is that I don't want to do that. I don't want to argue. I know everybody argues. I don't even want to use it as an excuse. Like, I don't want to take things to that point. I do know some couples that just go through life and they don't do that, and I don't think it's healthy. And I looked at this and I said, man, you know, that makes me want to do that, be that person even more that avoids this. Like, I don't like. Let me just say this. It made me not want to say any mean things to you. Even in a fight, I don't. This is why, you know, it makes me want to walk out more if I feel like I am going to say something mean to you, or if I'm going to yell. It makes me want to walk away because I don't want to say those words to you. I don't want to yell at you. I don't want. Especially being a third person, you know, an outsider looking in. It makes me say, if I've ever done that, I regret doing that. Like, I don't. Like looking at this, it makes me want to like. Not only be a better person for myself, but a better person for the marriage. Like, I will walk away before I say these kind of things to you.
The closing was the closing of the fight. What Adam said was like, man, come on.
Yeah, and even like, and listen, Adam, I'm not going to tell you.
You cannot go that far.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not taking sides with the man or the woman here. I'm looking at him being like, because I think Adam Driver, yeah. I'm looking at him and what he said. I'm like, man, I don't want to do that.
That's very far. Like,
yeah,
that's not even mean anymore. That's just like
he says something to her. Like, in all arguments, there are things going back and forth, and one person, even no matter how much they're going at each other, one person says one thing that just takes it way too far. And I think that was him. And I said, man, and that's another thing. I don't want to do something I don't want to say something just to hurt you, just to get at you.
See, I don't think, because I have ethnic parents, right? You know, and but I'm on the side with you, Coleman. I'm not the sort to raise my voice. I just don't believe in that. And yeah. For me, the ideology of saying something hurtful just because someone said something hurtful to you is the same as like two
I'm
rights
not saying
wrong.
like do it. Like, I'm not supporting it. That's what happens.
No, that's what naturally happens.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because I'm also understanding where you're coming from, where like you don't know how you respond under pressure, right? You know, usually you're not thinking straight, and you know, and just seeing from this little clip, like, there's so many places where you can de-escalate it, but once again, you're the third person looking in. And when you're in that back and forth, it's really a hard time on how you handle conflict resolution. And it's not healthy no matter what way you look at it.
That's the big thing with this. I mean, this is a review of the movie, but it's also a response to people saying that you watch this, and if you're having problems, this is going to be bad. You were saying how many people got the divorces. I have a feeling that if you're in the right state of mind, you should not be getting a divorce with this unless one person is just impossible to deal with. It just doesn't work. But I was going to say, I look at this and I think, like, with the right state of mind, you'll go in and be like, man, these are the things that can be avoided if I just try not to do this and realize that this hurts somebody. The movie's not easy, man. When you look at they both don't want to budge, it's not because they're being stubborn. There is some stubbornness going on in there. Each one of them has secrets that they've done that are wrong. But at the same time, they both have like, they are creative people who have either opportunities or they have created an opportunity they just cannot walk away from. They have things presented to them that's not easy to walk away from. This is just life with them at this point, you know, and that's the tragic thing about it. Life throws you a curve that you cannot see coming, and sometimes it ruins everything. You don't know what's happening. But I think, man, instead of telling people not to watch this, watch it for one. I know this is something we disagree on. I think it's very funny, but even if it's not a comedy, I would agree that some of the things that are funny in there are really good.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver, this is why this guy is one of my favorite actors, man. He is amazing in this. And not to say that no one else is in there that isn't amazing, but this guy, he continues to just rise up in the ranks of my list of favorite performers out there, man.
He has a very diverse, movie list that he's been growing with, right?
Yeah.
Look, he coming off of Black Klansman and Star Wars and then going into a marriage divorce drama. That's a huge range.
Yeah.
And he can do all.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you look at this look at it with the right frame of mind. Go in and say, this is us. We should just give up. Say, we should learn how to avoid what they're doing. There's a lesson to be learned there. You want to know who the asshole is in this movie? I'll tell you who the asshole is. That kid.
I know. That kid was annoying, right?
Yeah. I would say this. The movie avoids having one of those typical overdramatic scenes where the kid is like, don't go. I love both of you. Play. This kid's like, you know what? I don't give a f. Oh, I'm with dad this weekend? Sure. I'm with mom? Sure. That's not him grabbing them because he wants them to be together. That's him with the parents.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to get in the car.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get in the car. He just around. Yeah, this and the kid who plays, and actually the kid is pretty good. It's a kid named Azzy Robertson. I mean, that's his role to kind of be a little shit in the film. He doesn't give a. He's like, hey, you know what? That's just more presents for me for Christmas. Y'all got money. I get to take a trip to New York and LA every now and then. Cool. I get 2 Halloweens.
Like he was close to his cousins and stuff. So.
Yeah, he loved his cousins and grandma more than he loved them. So. This kid didn't give a fuck.
I think Scarlett Johansson was very good too. Like all her cries and stuff felt like very real.
Yeah, there's a scene where she's in. She gives a speech. She does. She gives a speech in the film, and it's her with Laura Dern, and the speech she gives. It's a monologue, and she breaks down to tears in the middle of it. Scarlett Johansson has proven herself to be an amazing actress after Jojo Rabbit, and now that she gets to play moms. This is one of those things where like, man, I'm not too easy with women having to play moms later in life because they just kind of play bit parts. So they're there to support the male counterpart or the male lead. Her playing a couple of moms so far have been the best things for her, man. She is amazing in this. Movie's really good. Well, I don't really have a whole lot of bad things to say about the movie. This is one of the few things I even give the movie I give the movie credit for even the score. Randy Newman, who did Toy Story. And the funny thing about it is if you listen, you can hear hints of Toy Story. Yeah, man. You can actually hear hints of you expecting Woody to come out in the morning, Well, what's going on here?
Me and Buzz are going through a divorce.
Don't fight it. If y'all know who Randy Newman is, Randy Newman did a song years ago that you can never make today. Do you remember a song called Short People? Mm-mm. Randy Newman made a song called Short People. You ever hear this? Randy Newman, when he was younger, he made a song called Short People. It was a radio hit, and you would never be able to make this today. In the song, he literally tells people, short people don't have a reason to live.
Short people got no reason to live.
That has such a Toy Story feel to it that I'm just like, yes.
You ask why?
Yeah.
He'll tell you why.
They got little hands, little eyes, they walk around telling great big lies.
Yeah, those guys. Expecting Woody to come out singing this.
As soon as he started playing, because I didn't know the name, but as soon as he started playing the song, I was like, oh God, I know this.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Chad's talking about monsters and midgets. Yeah, he wrote that. But the score is it's a Toy Story score for a divorce. When you say Buzz and Woody getting
Buzz and Woody getting a divorce.
Toys, I want everybody to just remain calm. Buzz and I are splitting up. No! Nah, man. This is a really good film, man. There's not a whole lot I can say bad about it. I'm trying to figure out one complaint, which I personally, for me, I don't have any. Can you find anything complain about in the movie?
No, I think it's written very well, acted very well, and I like these kind of movies. You know, you have no explosions, no nothing going on, but like people are acting really good and story is good, and you just watch it. You know?
The only explosion is verbal.
Yeah, yeah, or in court. You know, I mean, when I give something better than sex, and to me, makes it sound like it's a movie that's going to wow you, like some Marvel film or something. But you know, I'm just from a writing and filmmaking perspective here, this is a better than sex for me. You know, it's just written so well, and it reflects life so well. And at the end of this film, it's going to choke you up, man. It's going to choke you up, and not even for the reason that you think it is. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to even.
I didn't see the very end of it.
The very end of it, man.
I didn't want to miss the show, so I can't.
I don't even want to say what the very end. I don't even want to hint at it because you really need to see why it's going to be so moving. But yeah, check this out, man. How do you feel about it? What's your rating?
Oh.
So, well, you didn't see the end of it, but so far, how you feel about it?
I give 10 out of 10.
Mia fucked up your entire rating system. She said 10 out of 10.
10. Hey, that means it's good.
Better Than Sex felt a little weird because like this is like a sad movie and stuff. But like if that's your 10 out of 10, then I would say Better Than Sex.
I can get your mentality with that, Mia, because you know you'd want a Better Than Sex to be something exciting. But no, I think that if it's moving enough, like I think Martin only gives it to movies that make him cry, right?
Yeah, that's what Martin either says it didn't make me mad or it made me cry,
right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's just whatever you feel. Even if it's sometimes not true.
It's a great film, y'all.